the top 10 must-read murder mystery novels for thriller fans. Hello, and welcome to this video on the top 10 must-read murder mystery novels for thriller fans. If you're a fan of suspenseful, twisty, and thrilling stories, then this list is for you. In this video, I will share with you 10 of the best murder mystery novels that will keep you on the edge of your seat from beginning to end. 1. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, by Stieg Larsson. This book is a fast-paced and complex thriller that introduces the unforgettable character of Lisbeth Salander, a hacker and investigator who teams up with journalist Mikael Blomkvist to solve a decades-old mystery. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo is a crime thriller novel written by Swedish author Stieg Larsson. The book was published in 2005 and became an international bestseller, selling millions of copies worldwide. The story is set in Sweden and follows journalist Mikael Blomkvist and computer hacker Lisbeth Salander as they investigate a series of murders and a decades-old mystery. The novel begins with Mikael Blomkvist, the co-owner and journalist of the investigative magazine, Millennium, being convicted of libel against a wealthy industrialist named Hans-Erik Wennerström. As a result, Blomkvist steps down from his position and is hired by Henrik Wanger, a retired CEO, to investigate the disappearance of his niece, Harriet Wanger, who vanished without a trace 40 years ago. As Blomkvist delves deeper into the Wanger family history, he discovers a disturbing pattern of violence and sexual abuse. He also discovers that the Wanger family members are all suspects in Harriet's disappearance. With the help of Lisbeth Salander, a brilliant and unconventional computer hacker with a troubled past, Blomkvist uncovers a dark and twisted conspiracy that threatens to destroy them both. Lisbeth is initially hired by the Wanger family to investigate Blomkvist, but she eventually joins forces with him and becomes his assistant. She is a complex and intriguing character, with a photographic memory, incredible computer skills, and a history of abuse and trauma. Together, Blomkvist and Lisbeth unravel a web of corruption and deception that leads to some of the most powerful people in Swedish society. The novel is filled with themes of misogyny, sexual violence, corruption, and family dysfunction. It is a dark and disturbing story that explores the depths of human depravity and the lengths that people will go to protect their secrets and maintain their power. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo is a gripping and intense thriller that keeps the reader on the edge of their seat from beginning to end. The novel is also notable for its portrayal of strong and complex female characters, particularly Lisbeth Salander, who has become an iconic figure in popular culture. The book was followed by 2 sequels, The Girl Who Played with Fire, and The Girl Who Kicked the Hornet's Nest, which continued the story of Blomkvist and Salander. In 2011, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo was adapted into a film directed by David Fincher and starring Daniel Craig and Rooney Mara as Mikael Blomkvist and Lisbeth Salander, respectively. The film was a critical and commercial success, and it won the Academy Award for Best Film Editing. 2. Gone Girl, by Gillian Flynn. This book is a psychological thriller that tells the story of a married couple whose relationship takes a dark turn when the wife disappears and the husband becomes the prime suspect. Gone Girl is a psychological thriller novel written by Gillian Flynn. The book was published in 2012 and became an instant bestseller, selling millions of copies worldwide. The story is set in a small town in Missouri and follows Nick and Amy Dunn, a married couple who are both struggling with their relationship. The novel begins on the morning of Nick and Amy's 5th wedding anniversary. When Amy disappears, Nick becomes the prime suspect in her disappearance, and the police investigation uncovers a series of secrets and lies that have been hidden beneath the surface of their seemingly perfect marriage. As the investigation progresses, the reader is taken on a twisting and turning journey that explores the complexities of human relationships, the nature of truth and deception, and the dark underbelly of small-town America. Nick, the novel's protagonist, is an unreliable narrator who is difficult to sympathize with. He has a history of infidelity and is often evasive and defensive in his interactions with the police and the media. Amy, on the other hand, is presented through a series of diary entries as a brilliant and manipulative sociopath who is capable of incredible acts of deception and violence. As the story unfolds, the reader is left wondering who is telling the truth and who is lying, and what really happened to Amy. The novel's shocking twist ending is a masterclass in storytelling, and it will leave readers reeling long after they finish the book. Gone Girl is a gripping and intense thriller that explores the dark side of human nature and the lengths that people will go to in order to protect their own interests. The novel is notable for its complex and well-drawn characters, its taut and suspenseful plot, and its nuanced exploration of themes such as marriage, identity, and the media. In 2014, Gone Girl was adapted into a film directed by David Fincher and starring Ben Affleck and Rosamund Pike as Nick and Amy Dunn, respectively. The film was a critical and commercial success, and it was nominated for several Academy Awards, including Best Actress for Pike's performance as Amy. 3. Murder on the Orient Express, by Agatha Christie. This classic novel is a masterpiece of mystery writing and features the iconic detective Hercule Poirot as he investigates a murder that occurs on a luxurious train traveling through Europe. Murder on the Orient Express is a detective novel written by Agatha Christie, first published in 1934. The story is set aboard the luxurious train the Orient Express, which is traveling from Istanbul to Calais. The protagonist of the story is the famous Belgian detective, Hercule Poirot. The novel begins with Poirot boarding the Orient Express at Istanbul, along with 13 other passengers. On the second night of the journey, one of the passengers, a wealthy American named Samuel Ratchet, is found dead in his compartment, stabbed multiple times. Poirot, who happens to be on the train, is asked by the director of the Orient Express to investigate the murder. As he interviews each of the passengers, he uncovers a web of lies, secrets, and hidden motives, and eventually realizes that everyone on the train had a motive to kill Ratchet. The novel is a classic whodunit, with a closed circle of suspects and a detective who gradually uncovers the truth through a series of clues and deductions. The ending of the novel is one of the most famous twists in detective fiction, and it has become a cultural touchstone, referenced in films, television shows, and other works of fiction. One of the strengths of the novel is its characterization of the passengers on the Orient Express. Each character is unique and well drawn, with their own secrets and quirks. Christie also uses the setting of the train to great effect, creating a sense of claustrophobia and tension that adds to the suspense of the story. Murder on the Orient Express is widely regarded as one of Christie's best works, and it has been adapted into several films, television shows, and stage productions over the years. The most recent adaptation was a 2017 film directed by Kenneth Branagh, who also starred as Hercule Poirot, alongside an all-star cast including Penelope Cruz, Willem Dafoe, Judi Dench, Johnny Depp, and Michelle Pfeiffer. 4. The Silence of the Lambs, by Thomas Harris. This book is a chilling and suspenseful novel that follows the investigation of FBI agent Clarice Starling as she seeks the help of the notorious Cannibal Drive Hannibal Lecter to catch a serial killer. The Silence of the Lambs is a psychological thriller novel written by Thomas Harris, first published in 1988. The book follows Clarice Starling, a young FBI trainee, as she investigates a series of murders committed by a serial killer known as Buffalo Bill. To catch Buffalo Bill, Clarice is assigned to interview Drive Hannibal Lecter, a brilliant and manipulative psychiatrist who is serving a life sentence for his own serial killings. Clarice hopes that Lecter can provide insight into the mind of Buffalo Bill and help her catch him before he kills again. As Clarice delves deeper into the case, she is drawn into a dangerous game of cat and mouse with Buffalo Bill and Lecter, who seems to be manipulating her for his own purposes. Along the way, Clarice must confront her own demons and navigate a world of dark desires and twisted minds. One of the strengths of the novel is the characterization of Clarice Starling, who is a complex and compelling protagonist. She is smart, determined, and resourceful, but also vulnerable and haunted by a traumatic past. The relationship between Clarice and Lecter is also a highlight of the novel, with Lecter serving as both a mentor and a manipulator to Clarice. The novel is also notable for its gruesome and detailed descriptions of violence and murder, which are at times difficult to read but add to the overall sense of dread and horror. The tension and suspense are expertly crafted, building to a thrilling and shocking climax. The Silence of the Lambs was adapted into a highly successful film in 1991. Directed by Jonathan Demme and starring Jodie Foster as Clarice Starling and Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal Lecter. The film won multiple Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Actor for Hopkins' performance as Lecter. The film adaptation is widely regarded as one of the best psychological thrillers of all time. Overall, The Silence of the Lambs is a masterful work of psychological suspense, with complex characters, expert pacing, and a gripping plot that will keep readers on the edge of their seats. It is a classic of the thriller genre and remains a must-read for fans of dark and twisted fiction. 5. The Da Vinci Code, by Dan Brown. This book is a thrilling adventure that combines murder, art, and history as Harvard symbologist Robert Langdon and cryptographer Sophie Neveu try to solve a murder mystery and uncover a religious conspiracy. The Da Vinci Code is a mystery thriller novel written by Dan Brown, first published in 2003. The book follows the character Robert Langdon, a Harvard symbology professor, as he investigates the murder of Jacques Saunière, the curator of the Louvre Museum in Paris. Langdon is assisted in his investigation by Sophie Neveu, a cryptographer and the granddaughter of Saunière, as Langdon and Neveu follow a trail of clues left by Saunière. They uncover a web of secrets and conspiracies involving the Holy Grail and the true nature of Jesus Christ's relationship with Mary Magdalene. They are pursued by both the French police, who suspect them of Saunière's murder, and a secret society known as the Priory of Sion, who are desperate to keep their secrets hidden. One of the strengths of the novel is the way it weaves together historical facts and fictional elements, creating a compelling and plausible alternate history of Christianity. Brown's use of symbols and codes adds to the sense of mystery and intrigue, and his descriptions of art and architecture are vivid and engaging. The novel was controversial upon its release, with some religious groups objecting to its depiction of Jesus and Mary Magdalene. However, it also became a massive commercial success, selling millions of copies and becoming a cultural phenomenon. It has been translated into dozens of languages and has spawned multiple adaptations, including a film starring Tom Hanks as Robert Langdon. Overall, The Da Vinci Code is a gripping and thought-provoking thriller that explores complex themes of religion, history, and the search for truth. It is a must-read for fans of mystery and suspense, and its popularity has helped to spark renewed interest in the history and legends surrounding the Holy Grail and Mary Magdalene. 6. The Cuckoo's Calling, by Robert Galbraith, J.K. Rowling. This book is a contemporary mystery that introduces private detective Cormoran Strike and his assistant Robin Ellicott as they investigate the death of a supermodel. The Cuckoo's Calling is a detective novel written by J.K. Rowling, published under the pseudonym Robert Galbraith in 2013. The book follows the character of Cormoran Strike, a private investigator and former military police officer, as he investigates the apparent suicide of a supermodel named Lula Landry. Despite the initial conclusion of the police that Lula's death was a suicide, her brother hires Strike to investigate the case further. Strike is aided in his investigation by his new secretary, Robin Ellicott, and together they delve into the complex and secretive world of high fashion, celebrity culture, and the dark side of London. As Strike uncovers more information about Lula's past and the people in her life, he begins to suspect that her death was not a suicide, but rather a murder. However, the more he investigates, the more dangerous the case becomes. And he must use all of his skills and experience to solve the mystery before it's too late. One of the strengths of the novel is the characterization of Cormoran Strike, who is a complex and sympathetic protagonist. He is a wounded veteran struggling to make ends meet and deal with his personal demons. But he is also highly skilled and determined to get to the truth. The relationship between Strike and Robin is also a highlight of the novel, with their dynamic and banter adding a touch of humor and warmth to the otherwise dark and gritty story. The novel is notable for its attention to detail and its realistic depiction of the fashion and celebrity world. Rowling's writing is descriptive and atmospheric, immersing the reader in the world of Strike and Lula's London. The plot is expertly crafted, with multiple twists and turns that keep the reader guessing until the very end. Overall, The Cuckoo's Calling is a masterful work of detective fiction, with complex characters, vivid writing, and a gripping plot that will keep readers on the edge of their seats. It is a must-read for fans of the genre, and the subsequent novels in the series have only cemented its place as one of the best detective series of recent years. 7. The Snowman, by Jo Nesbø. This book is a gripping and atmospheric thriller that follows Detective Harry Hole as he investigates a series of murders linked to a snowman. The Snowman is a crime thriller novel written by Jo Nesbø, published in 2007. The book follows the character of Harry Hole, a detective in the Norwegian police force, as he investigates a series of gruesome murders that all seem to be connected to a snowman left at each crime scene. As Harry delves deeper into the investigation, he begins to uncover a web of secrets and lies that have been hidden for years. He discovers that the killer has been active for decades and that he is targeting women who have children but are not capable of taking care of them. Harry is haunted by his own demons, including his failed relationship with his girlfriend Raquel, his struggles with alcoholism, and his complicated relationship with his fellow officers. As he becomes more involved in the case, Harry becomes increasingly vulnerable, and the killer seems to be always one step ahead of him. One of the strengths of the novel is the vivid and atmospheric description of the Norwegian winter, which adds to the sense of foreboding and dread that pervades the story. Nesbø's writing is gripping and fast-paced, with twists and turns that keep the reader guessing until the very end. The characterization of Harry Hole is also a highlight of the novel. He is a flawed and complex protagonist, struggling with personal demons while trying to do his job to the best of his ability. His relationship with Raquel is a source of tension throughout the novel, and the way it is portrayed is realistic and moving. The Snowman is a gripping and suspenseful thriller that will keep readers on the edge of their seats. It is a must-read for fans of crime fiction and Nordic noir, and the subsequent novels in the Harry Hole series have only cemented Jo Nesbø's place as one of the best crime writers of our time. 8. The Secret History, by Donna Tartt. This book is a haunting and complex mystery that explores the dark secrets of a group of college students and the murder that binds them together. The Secret History is a novel written by Donna Tartt, published in 1992. The book follows the character of Richard Pappan, a young man from a poor background who gains admission to a prestigious New England college and becomes involved with a group of eccentric and wealthy students studying ancient Greek. The novel explores themes of obsession, guilt, and the nature of friendship, as Richard becomes increasingly entangled with his new friends and their dark secrets. The group is led by the charismatic and enigmatic Julian Morrow, who has a deep knowledge of ancient Greek and a mysterious past. As Richard becomes more involved with the group, he begins to uncover their darkest secrets and the lengths they will go to preserve them. The students become increasingly isolated and paranoid, and the reader is left to wonder whether their obsession with ancient Greek has led them down a dangerous path. One of the strengths of the novel is the vivid and atmospheric description of the college campus and the surrounding countryside. Tartt's writing is descriptive and evocative, immersing the reader in the world of the students and their studies. The characterization of the students is also a highlight of the novel. Each character is complex and multifaceted, with their own secrets and motivations. Julian Morrow is a particularly intriguing character, with a dark past that is only hinted at throughout the novel. The Secret History is a gripping and thought-provoking novel that explores themes of morality, friendship, and the search for meaning. It is a must-read for fans of literary fiction and psychological thrillers, and has cemented Donna Tartt's place as one of the best writers of our time. 9. In the Woods, by Tana French. This book is a psychological thriller that tells the story of Detective Rob Ryan as he investigates the murder of a young girl in a small Irish town, and confronts his own traumatic past. In the Woods is a crime thriller novel written by Tana French, published in 2007. The book follows the character of Rob Ryan, a detective in the Dublin police force, as he investigates the murder of a young girl in a small town on the outskirts of Dublin. As Rob delves deeper into the investigation, he discovers that the murder has similarities to a traumatic event from his own childhood. He and his partner, Cassie Maddox, work tirelessly to uncover the truth. But as they get closer to the killer, Rob begins to unravel, haunted by memories from his past that he has long suppressed. One of the strengths of the novel is the vivid and atmospheric description of the Irish countryside, which adds to the sense of isolation and danger that pervades the story. French's writing is immersive and evocative, capturing the mood and tone of the setting perfectly. The characterization of Rob Ryan is also a highlight of the novel. He is a complex and flawed protagonist, struggling with his own demons while trying to do his job to the best of his ability. His relationship with Cassie is a source of tension throughout the novel, and the way it is portrayed is realistic and engaging. In the Woods is a gripping and suspenseful thriller that will keep readers on the edge of their seats. It is a must-read for fans of crime fiction and psychological thrillers. And the subsequent novels in the Dublin Murder Squad series have only cemented Tana French's place as one of the best crime writers of our time. 10. The Name of the Rose, by Umberto Eco. This book is a historical murder mystery that takes place in a medieval monastery as Franciscan friar William of Baskerville and his apprentice Adzo of Melk investigate a series of deaths. The Name of the Rose is a historical mystery novel written by Umberto Eco, published in 1980. The book is set in the 14th century in a Benedictine monastery in Italy, where a series of mysterious murders have taken place. The main character, William of Baskerville, is a Franciscan friar and a former inquisitor who has been sent to the monastery to investigate the murders. As William delves deeper into the investigation, he uncovers a web of political and religious intrigue, as well as a conflict between different factions within the monastery. He is aided in his investigation by a young novice named Adzo, who serves as his assistant and narrator of the story. One of the strengths of the novel is the rich historical detail and the vivid portrayal of life in a medieval monastery. Eco's writing is erudite and immersive, and he incorporates elements of philosophy, theology, and literary theory into the narrative. The characterization of William of Baskerville is also a highlight of the novel. He is a complex and intelligent protagonist, with a dry wit and a keen analytical mind. His relationship with Adzo is also well drawn, and the two characters serve as a perfect foil for each other. The Name of the Rose is a dense and challenging novel that rewards careful reading and attention to detail. It is a must-read for fans of historical fiction, mystery, and literary fiction, and has cemented Umberto Eco's place as one of the greatest writers of our time. In conclusion, these 10 must-read murder mystery novels offer a diverse range of settings, characters, and styles that are sure to satisfy any thriller fan's appetite for suspense and intrigue. Whether you're looking for classic whodunits, psychological thrillers, or historical mysteries, these books are sure to keep you hooked until the very end. Thank you for watching, and happy reading.